lead recruiter for Steve Fisher. When Fisher took on the San Diego State position back in 1999. And tonight they meet on the national stage. Starting lineups, D.K. Eldridge, the starter at one guard. Daniel Mullins, player of the year in the Western Athletic Conference. And on the other side, Xavier Thames, well documented at this point, just remarkable. Taking over the program in 1999, inherited a team that had won 4 games the year prior. And he has this Aztecs program now a perennial contender on the national stage.
And he is going against one of his former assistants in Marvin Minzy, a longtime close and personal friend.
This is Shalitsi Napawe, who is built like a superhero. Inside, Skylar Spencer had it poked away. They're so agile, so quick with their hands defensively inside. This New Mexico State front court, one of the most imposing in the country. And that one never had a chance. Davis blocked by Boulard. I don't think he left his feet.
Nope. But now you got to run him.
That's why he labors a bit up and down the floor. Davis can't hit. Tipped up and in. I believe they'll give it to J.J. O'Brien. They trap Mullins in the front court. Minute 10 gone by. This is Elrich. O'Brien poked it away. Davis the loose ball. Biggest key, Doug, for New Mexico State to try to win this game.
Well, they're going to play a triangle in 2. They're not going to guard the non-shooters for San Diego State, but they have to contain that guy, Xavier Thames. He's a one-man bailout mechanism for San Diego State. You've heard of Sim City, the game, right?
Of course.
Simbalar is a city, okay? And he is just a towering mammoth of a man. That's not a foul. That's just a block. Wow, Josh Davis. And Josh Davis is a well put together 6'6", 6'7", long arm, 4'5". Just dwarfed in comparison to Simbalar.
Well, the most amazing part of this whole thing is that he's like the second tallest player in college basketball. Mamadou Ndiaye of UC Irvine stands at 7'6". Spencer, one of the all-time shot blockers in San Diego State history. 36th in the country in blocks, and with that block, setting a single-season San Diego State record.
Skylar Spencer has had an outstanding season. You remember that Kansas game? He had 13 big points, too.
Bullar's got a soft little stroke around the rim. That time a little bit too strong. Shepard coughed it up. Credit the steal to Aronis. Aggies 26-9. No strangers to the big dance. This is their 21st tournament appearance. Napawe, little spin shot off target. Back to the Aztecs.
You mentioned Napawe, Chili Napawe, who next to Simbalar looks like he's like 6'5". But he's 6'9", 6'10", 270 pounds of pure muscle. I mean, he is a monster. But again, standing next to Boulard, just looks like a dude.
He's the Aggies' leading rebounder. Nearly 8 a night, second in the WAC in blocks, behind only Boulard.
So they're playing essentially a 2-man zone.
Nowhere for Spencer to go. Here's O'Brien. Can't imagine they're going to get many second chance opportunities with this front court of New Mexico State.
But San Diego State does bring a shooting lineup off the bench. The question is, can that undersized lineup defend the Aggies in the post?
Mullins pass intercepted. Aggies still looking for their first points. 5-0 as Thames buries the 3.
Beautiful friendship with the Fisher family.
And of course, Ramil Robinson and Glenn Rice, part of that magnificent bunch. The phantom call that Carlissimo doesn't whine about to this day that allowed Ramil Robinson to hit those game-winning free throws in the now long gone but not forgotten kingdom of Seattle.
And PJ Carlissimo here as part of Westwood One's national radio call with the great Ted Robinson here in Spokane. So Sim Bullard getting the Aggies on the board finally. Nearly 4 minutes into the game. Shepard. This is Mullings.
25 years ago. Anybody else feel old when you find out that
right?
25 years ago? He, of course, got the job because Bill Frieder wasn't a Michigan man. Bill Frieder went to Arizona State. Amazing story of Steve Fisher.
Napawe and a traveling violation called. Shuffled his feet. Aztecs will have it when we come back. Up 3 with 15 and change left.
Working on their bodies, working on their game.
You talk to people around this New Mexico State team, and they say that Seam is like a giant teddy bear. He's very shy. Takes him a while to kind of open up to people. What a blossoming player he is turning out to be. Freshman of the year last season in the WAC. It was Dwayne Polee trying to work around Bullard. Easier said than done. Mullings off of his fingertips, and it went.
And those are two freak athletes. Daniel Mullins can go up and get it above the square. DK Eldridge has an amazing first step finding each other.
So low scoring game at the start, just 9 total points. That's Polee fouled, he'll shoot 2.
Here's New Mexico State. So they have these big guys that are manning the basket and then allows their guard to just go out and run free. Eldridge with a lot. It's actually more difficult, as Mullins just slipped out of his hands, more difficult to throw and catch that lob on a right for a righty from the right to left. More natural when you're running on the right-hand side of the hoop to dunk it if you're a right-hand dunker. How about the difference in Dwayne Polee, who's a human pogo stick, just a ridiculous athlete, long legs, earned a ton of playing time here after not playing at all in the Arizona game to start the season. The difference in Dwayne Polee and the big guys for New Mexico State.
I like his father, Dwayne Sr., former LA City Player of the Year. He's had some big moments for Steve Fisher this season. And it's Josh Davis, so good off the glass, extending the lead to 4. Polee that game-winning 3 against Boise State on the road. 4 seconds left in early February. Signature moment of his season.
He played great against Creighton when they beat them in the Wooden Legacy as well. That's where he first started to earn his minutes.
Eldridge from deep, missed it everything. And then San Diego State with the answer. Davis again. Six-point lead for the Aztecs. 13 and change left first half. This is Mullings. Schwigley got a piece. Offensive foul on Mullings.
A tremendous play from Josh Davis, who steps in and gives up his body. Planted, set. That's a good call. Yep, before he started to lift the basketball, you have to be in a legal guarding position, which he was.
So a couple of bad possessions. First that DK Eldridge 3, the force. And then Mullings looking for something that wasn't there. Thames looking for his second triple.
And Rhodes can get it off quick.
Get it!
If you haven't seen Kevin Aronis shoot, you're in for a treat.
I talked to their assistant Keith Brown yesterday about how they found Aronis. Transfer from Santa Rosa Junior College just south of San Francisco. Said we needed a shooter, and he's exactly what we were looking for. Contact underneath. Non-shooting foul. Aztecs will inbound. Watch live games on your Amazon Kindle, Android device, iPhone, iPad, or computer with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. Davis going for the rebound. With one of his arms held. Draws contact.
I don't need the famous boss button, but I do happen to have that up. Taking a look at on CBS, Texas leading Arizona State, Villanova leading Milwaukee. Of course, Louisville and Manhattan, that's a 4-point game. So you go to TNT and TBS and CBS. The interesting thing about Manhattan and Louisville, obviously, is Steve Masiello, former assistant to Rick Pitino, much the way that Marvin Menzie, former assistant to Steve Fisher.
That Pitino coaching tree getting larger and larger as the years have gone on. Earlier today, we had Mick Cronin here, the Cincinnati head coach. Boullard got all leather, but a foul called as well.
I think this is a clean block. As Ezekiel Quinn, who's a very good shooter, and the captain of this Aztec team.
That's a tough call.
It's a clean block. Life of a giant is not fair.
Fifth in the country in blocks, 3.56 on the season. First team all WAC. And was picked as the tournament MVP in the Western Athletic Tournament just last week. And just to illustrate how unselfish a guy he is, his first reaction afterwards to his SID was that why didn't Daniel Mullins get the award?
Yeah.
He felt like he should have taken home the trophy.
It's something, and Mullins another Canadian. But if you ask many of these Canadian basketball players, Melvin Edgem, who's the Big 12 Player of the Year from Canada, also from the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, he acts much the same way. They don't have the killer mentality. They're very much team-first guys. So many of these Canadian-born or Canadian naturalized basketball players are taught them that mantra, and they are taking over college hoops.
Makawe turned back. Spencer so good on the interior. This is Shrigley. Blocked inside by Dixon. Here comes Baker. Fouled inside. It's on Akeel Quinn. His first free throws for the Aggies when we come.
Conference title since 1976, and it was a dormant program. They played in Peterson Gym until a couple years before he got there. In 97, they opened Viejas. I mean, they literally built it on what you would call the ruins, okay? The Aztec Bowl, which is the old football stadium on campus, they built a basketball arena inside the old bowl, used the kind of the same exterior structure, if you will, and then there's a basketball arena kind of in the middle. And they've done it, getting players people missed on, ton of transfers, recruiting kids that fit their style and their system. But what's really amazing is what they've done after losing star players. And they lost Jamal Franklin last year, who led them in 4 statistical categories, and they're better this year record-wise. Lost Kawhi Leonard, and everybody thought they'd fall off. They didn't. They lost Marcus Slaughter, who left early for the NBA draft. Didn't fall off. That's what's really impressive about San Diego State.
What a finish inside. That's Ronaldo Dixon, the senior from Toronto, as Doug pointed out earlier. Aggies within 2 as we come up on 11 minutes left.
Now, New Mexico State, remember, they beat New Mexico, part of a home-and-home they play. This is a good team, been in the tournament 3 straight years.
Winston Shepard, our second leading scorer, still trying to get his game going.
Well, the scouting report is out on Winston Shepard. Make him shoot jump shots. And the challenge for Shepard is taking good shots on balance. He has a tendency to get off balance and take erratic shots. And erratic shots lead to erratic misses.
Shepard was in double digits 24 games this year. Averages 12. He's still scoreless.
Move.
Everything but the finish from Dixon. James gets it back. Quinn. This is Daniel Mullins.
You cannot give Ronas any airspace. Just a quick release, great balance, tremendous shooter.
If you've just joined us, both teams struggling. New Mexico State 4 of 11. Aztecs even worse, 4 for 14. That's Aronis on a long three. Offensive rebound. Baker, shot clock resets. This New Mexico State team ranked 19th in the collegeinsider.com mid-major top 25 poll as of March the 10th. Trying to follow the footsteps of North Dakota State, who pulled the upset just a little while ago.
Beautiful.
O'Brien running a lane, rewarded. 4 points for J.J. O'Brien, the junior, out of Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Another transfer. J.J. O'Brien was kind of a point forward, started his career at Utah. He is a very, very good passer who struggled to score all year.
Steve Fisher said about J.J. O'Brien, he's as smart a player as I have ever coached. And that's a big statement from a guy who's been around as long as Steve Fisher.
And this is a problem for New Mexico State. You can't have just one man back in transition defense. They actually had two there. No one stops the basketball. No one picks up Shepard. Way too easy for J.J. O'Brien.
This is Baker. Backdoor. Eldridge. Offensive rebound. Dixon. And that is a shot clock violation on the Aggies.
And there are all kinds of different defensive metrics, right? It's just like football. I mean, I know you cover the NFL and the NBA, Spiro. But you know what the most important metric is? How many points do you allow? And they allow the second fewest amount of points of any team in the country. They are a tremendous defensive team. They struggle to score sometimes, but they may win ugly, but they've won a lot ugly.
Second nationally in scoring defense, under 57 a game, 8th in the country in field goal defense percentage. As Thames buries along too.
And of course, Thames knows the area well. He transferred from Washington State, the Palouse, just down the road. A tremendous mid-range jump shooter.
Little over way hard finish by Napawe. .6'10", 270 pounds of pure muscle. Thames drawing contact, so good with his body positioning, getting to the rim.
This is all DK Eldridge. Watch as he steps to the left right before the pass to set up the opening. And Napawe, Chili Napawe. I've seen Patrick Young in person, and Patrick Young looks like somebody. Remember those G.I. Joe cartoons?
Sure.
Napawe's bigger. Because Napawe's bigger, his base is bigger. He didn't skip leg day.
Thames hits the first 5-point lead for the Aztecs. Oh, if you missed getting your bracket in, it's not too late. Join the Capital One NCAA March Madness round-by-round game right now at ncaa.com/round-by-round. We're in Spokane, Washington. Spiro Adidas, Doug Gottlieb, our entire crew. Jamie Maggio working the sidelines for us. Final game of our quadruple header. Dangerous pass by Eldridge. Knocked out of bounds by Paul Lee with 8:02 left before halftime. The winner of this game advances to Saturday, where they will meet North Dakota State. We'll pull the upset here in our third game. Sending Lon Kruger in Oklahoma back home. Eldridge. Ooh. Bodies all over the place. Thames. Davis to the rim. Left-handed reverse high off glass. 8-2 run for the Aztecs. Shepard whistled on the foul, getting Aronis in the backcourt.
Josh Davis, he started his career at NC State, then to Tulane, now to San Diego State. 5 years, finally in the dance, helping the
Steve Fisher against his one-time assistant, first 4 years at the helm of San Diego State, Marvin Menzies. And Menzies was so critical to that staff because Fisher, coming from the Midwest, didn't really have the recruiting ties out west. Menzies was their guy.
Well, he had been with the Sacramento Kings for a year previously as an assistant coach. But, yeah, I mean, he hadn't ever recruited California. Had to get an L.A. guy, and Marvin Menzies, former junior college head coach, he was an L.A. guy. And they did an incredible job, an impressive job of getting into Los Angeles, bounce-back recruiting. And bounce-back recruiting, quite simply, is you recruit guys you're not going to get. They go elsewhere, they get upset, they come back home. It's one of the ways they feasted on talent in Southern California.
Last bucket from the Aggies by Baker. Steve Fisher told us the first guy to text him as soon as the matchup was announced Selection Sunday was Marvin Menzies. And they both agreed, as happy as they were for each other, they were hoping they wouldn't have to play each other.
You don't want to play family. That's no fun. Especially when it's going to end somebody's season. In the regular season, when you're secure in your profession, that's fine. Postseason, not so much.
Mullings, their leading scorer, can't get his game going yet. Now just 1 of 3, 2 points. Contact, Staines fouled on the block. It's on Baker. Okay, complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament at NCAA.com. Marvin Menzies, the LA native, 1987 UCLA graduate. 4th NCAA appearance with the Aggies.
And Xavier Thames, of course, not from Los Angeles. He's from Sacramento. He, along with his partner in crime, Chase Tapley, who graduated last year, part of a strong Sacramento contingent. They continue to feast on that area of Southern California. They've gotten Kawhi Leonard out of Riverside, which is inland Southern California. Kawhi Leonard didn't have an offer from a high-level Pac-12 school. They get the California State Player of the Year, and he's become a star in the NBA.
Now, he originally turned down Steve Fisher. Wanted to go up to the Pac-12, and Washington State wasn't what he expected it to be.
Well, part of it was he went to play for Tony Bennett.
Right.
Tony Bennett leaves. Gambone comes in, recruited by a different guy. But also the year off helped him. And look, last year he only averaged 9 points a game, had a bad back. And this year he's been far better than anyone could have expected. But that's the other story to San Diego State and programs like this. Players getting in the gym, working on their game, and really improving.
Shot clock at 10. The Poway held by O'Brien.
He's just a monster. You're trying to play in front of him because if you play behind him, he'll back you down.
There's no way to appreciate just how big this kid is until you stand next to him. I mean, he walks by you and you almost lose your breath for a second.
Second, Ballard and Poway are both.
How about next year when they're playing together? His younger brother Tanvir, 7'3". Baker from deep. Offensive rebound to Poway. Powers up. Shrigley got him from the back. Matt Shrigley, not noted for his interior defense. Aztecs will inbound.
Shrigley's got a little bounce, though. Shrigley can really get up in the air. Very good shooter. Out of La Costa Canyon, same high school that produced Chase Budinger.
Redshirt freshman.
There's just no way to sound tough when your high school is La Costa Canyon. You know what I mean?
Well, he plays tough. He and the Aztecs up 8. 5 minutes left. New Mexico State, if you've just joined us, 6 of 22 from the field.
Yeah, but they're still in this game because they just play their big men in the lane, pressure out in the guards.
Fame short. And look at Spencer getting his hands dirty. And he is in a lot of pain. Got tangled up with Ballard, the 7'5" giant.
And Ballard just kind of wrong place, wrong time. Man, this is bad news if Skylar Spencer hurts his shoulder. Just kind of got stuck and he tried to take the ball out. And he hurt his shoulder. He's moving it so it doesn't, hopefully. Now, Skylar Spencer does everything right-handed as Simbalar picks up his third foul. but he shoots the basketball left-handed. Matter of fact, his dad wanted him to be left-handed so badly that he says it only happened one time. Others have said it happened multiple times. He'd actually duct tape his right arm, so he'd shoot the ball left-handed. So when you watch him shoot, it's not a natural shooting motion. Matter of fact, it's pretty tough to watch. But he throws a baseball right-handed.
Spencer is a left-hander, so that shoulder injury to his left arm, obviously a little bit more intense. Trying to grit through it here and give the Aztecs a 10-point lead.
Think about that. Your dad, like every dad wants.
That's pretty intense coaching.
My son actually is left-handed, but I did not.
Is that taking it too far?
No.
Or do you like that kind of coaching?
No, my dad. No, I mean, listen. Have you seen a middle reliever, 40 years old?
What if the kid just wanted to be right-handed?
He's right-handed. There's nothing you can do. I guess you could tape his arm behind his back.
Aronis keeps it in bounds. To Eldridge.
They call DHS on you, but
12-4 run for the Aztecs, and their defense has completely bottled up the Aggies. Poli, he is as smooth as ever in the open floor.
Man, does he take up space? It's like elegant to watch him run.
Poli, the junior, extending San Diego State's about 77.2 per game, but all kinds of issues against the second-ranked defense nationally of Steve Fisher.
Yeah, hounding Aronis.
Doug, what have they done to Mullings, their leading scorer? Barely could get a shot off. He's only attempted 3. Backdoor finds Eldridge. Mapawe got it.
Well, Mullins is a driver and an athlete more than a shooter. He only shoots low to mid-20s from 3. Very good athlete. He's not as strong going left as he is right. They're making him go to his left hand. And they have a help-oriented defense because New Mexico State doesn't have a face-up 4 or 5. Can't space the floor.
Shepard, beautiful spin, just couldn't put it down. And Mapawe clears.
And that's Winston Shepard 101. A very talented player who still needs to clean up some of those misses, some of the ball handling flaws, in addition to becoming a better shooter. But he has some dollar moves that end up in a nickel finish.
Mapawe camped out underneath. Spencer was sealed. And Chili Mapawe will shoot when we come back. Aggies trying to stay within striking.
Old school
That's
Big
a pretty
East
good
matchup.
one coming up either way.
Old Big East against AAC. Of course, over on CBS, Arizona State tied it up with Texas. Jahi Carson, Jordan Bashinsky, Arizona State, good club.
Well, New Mexico State, as much as they have struggled, 7 of 24 shooting. You look up, and they're only down 9 points. As good as the Aztecs are defensively, some nights they don't have the offense to blow you out, especially with this front court of the Aggies. Ball knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Aztecs.
They call it lock and trail, and that's what they're doing to Dwayne Poli. You get, some people call it tailgating. Get behind just like that annoying guy in the freeway that doesn't leave your backside. And they are not leaving Matt Shrigley or Dwayne Poli. It should be an honor because that means you're a shooter. They consider you a shooter. But Mexico State doing a very good job of locking and trailing the 3 perimeter players of San Diego State and forcing them to the big guys.
This is Dixon. Little head fake. Knocked out of bounds by Poli with 16 on the 35. Excellent cut. Mullings missed the layup. 2 points for their leading scorer, 1 for 4 shooting. And this one going the other way. It's on Spencer. Reminder coming up, AT&T at the half. We'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news around the country, highlights and updates. All coming up on AT&T at the half in less than 2 minutes. Spiralides, Doug Gottlieb, Jamie Maggio. Winner of this game advances to Saturday's round of 32, where North Dakota State awaits. This is Napawe swatted by Poli. You heard a little bit of a slap. Shrigley buries the three from the corner. First points for the redshirt freshman. Aztecs lead at 12. Shrigley, a nephew of Bruce Pearl, former Tennessee coach, now of course the new head man at Auburn. No doubt keeping tabs on his nephew here in Spokane. Whistle blowing that time on Spencer, and that's a big one. That's his third.
The one thing about San Diego State in this game is they're going to bring in James Johnson, a transfer from Virginia. They have a ton of depth on the bench. They thought Johnson would be a rotation guy going back to before the year began, but they got Josh Davis as a fifth-year transfer. Remember, if you graduate on time, you can transfer and play right away. Davis, of course, started his career at NC State, sat out and redshirted and played at Tulane, and then transferred. And that pushed James Johnson down the bench. So he's a big body who can provide you 5 fouls.
Just bad experiences, man. Never close. You think you know about the sport.
Wow, the more you know, the less you know.
Hurts your feelings.
Yeah. The more you know, the less you know.
Under a minute to play, first half. 11-point lead for San Diego State, the 4th seed in the West Regional.
Which is counter to what they taught you with G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, remember, knowing is half the battle, right?
That's right. Shrigley, way outside on a big three. 14-point game. At some point, New Mexico State is going to have to kick its offense into gear. They are 7 for 26 so far. Napawe against Johnson. Gets the friendly bounce, and he'll shoot one.
Here's Matt Shrigley, and this is San Diego State's best offense. They screen for Xavier Thames, and then use the same man to screen down for Matt Shrigley. And then Chillian Poway is going Debo on Johnson. My bad, punk. He is way bigger than Debo.
Yes, he is. Are you kidding me? Chili's mother visited a few weeks ago from Johannesburg, her first time in the United States, first time on an airplane. Said she was just blown away by the entire experience. Spent his first 2 years in the States. Simi Valley, lived with a surrogate family. He's picked up the English language very impressively. And what a college player he has become for this New Mexico State program. Trying to pull the upset here tonight as the 13th seed in the West.
Same type of set, Bill. New Mexico State goes to a zone.
2 seconds. Good look for Thames. Can't hit. As we reach halftime here in Spokane. New Mexico State season low for points in the first half with only
doing a great job at that. You know, the couple of things that we were really worried about, one of them was transition. And they're just killing us off of our bad shot selection. It's going the other way. So we've got to shore that up.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Josh Davis, left-handed floater to get the second half started and extend to a 14-point lead. You have to be careful here if you're New Mexico State. Biggest deficit they've had to contend with.
Well, defensively, I think they have a good plan. That time they were in a kind of a matchup zone. They want to force you their big guys. Offensively, just haven't been able to get good looks. And if they shoot quickly and turn it over, their big guys can't run the floor well enough.
Eldridge threw it right to Spencer. And then Shepard missed the little floater. Is there anything they can change up offensively to attack this defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to use Simbalar more than just standing in the post. But you have to run Mullings and Ronis off of his big body in order to create space.
Mullings foul. It's on O'Brien.
I just happened to notice something. Marvin Menzie, of course, who used to be an assistant at San Diego State, he's wearing a tie I recognize. I couldn't remember where I recognized that tie from. It's a Burberry tie. It's my brother's wedding. He's in my brother's wedding.
Your kid?
And that's just, no, I'm not. I'm dead serious.
Marvin and your brother both, of course, on that original Steve Fisher staff at San Diego State.
And Marvin Menzie is widely considered just a beloved guy in college basketball. He went from San Diego State to USC to UNLV, and then was on Rick Pitino's staff before he finally got a shot at being a Division I men's head coach. Scott Sandler was initially the director of basketball ops. He chose to go into private business after 5 months on the job, and my brother Greg had interviewed for the job, didn't get it. Marvin Menzie went back in there and said, "You need to hire this guy." My brother was on staff for 8 years with Steve Fisher.
And they're also still close as Boulard sends that one back. And most impressively kept it in play to his teammates. Mullings turns the corner and lays it up and in.
And I couldn't tell what happened with Josh Davis, if that was Xavier Thames who mistakenly pushed him, or was Mullings leading with his off arm. But Mullings going to his right. I mean, he is a tremendous athlete. Great burst. Really good middle game player who simply needs to continue to work on his three-point stroke.
What an evolution it's been for Mullings, from a role player as a freshman to the Conference Player of the Year this season in the WAC. And Doug, again, you look up, they're only down 10. A couple of minutes into the half. J.J. O'Brien makes it a 13-point game.
And that is so big for O'Brien. He broke his hand earlier this year, was playing essentially with a cast to where he couldn't even make layups. But he worked and worked and worked in the offseason. They need J.J. O'Brien to be a viable threat to win big in the tournament.
One of the more versatile players in the Mountain West Conference, Boulard, a mountain of a man, puts it in point blank.
Well, at least they're getting him the ball now. He gets you the ball in that dead zone. There's nothing you can do.
Here comes Mullings. Sidesteps the defense and a chance at a three-point play. Aggies hoping the lid is finally off his offensive game. It's a single-digit deficit.
Watch out, Danny Mullings. Big step in the lane. Going right, he is trouble.
72% free throw shooter. Mullings is only one of two players in Division I college basketball to amass 300 points, 140 rebounds, and 50 steals in each of the past 3 seasons. One of the more versatile, underrated players in the country. Boulard clears. Here comes Mullings. New Mexico State, if you've just joined us, 26-9, automatic bid out of the Western Athletic Conference. And here they come now. 7 straight points to cut it to 6. Thames. San Diego State's biggest lead, 14 points. Shot clock resets. Davis. Bothered by Boulard. Lost it inside. Napawe the loose ball. This is one of the biggest, most imposing front courts in the country.
And watch for Aronis. Now that Mullins has his game going, don't be surprised if San Diego State overhelps and loses number 5, who is a prolific three-point shooter.
Aronis. Six-point game, 4.5 minutes into the second half, and an illegal pick on Davis. That's his first. New Mexico State taking back the momentum in the home game. This is actually the first road game he's traveled to this season. There was no way Mark was missing the tournament this year.
Yeah, and that's how the Fishers have wanted to handle it. They're private people, and they want everybody to know that Mark Fisher is very much a part of this program, and I can attest to it. Talk about page upon page long text messages about a game that he's seen on TV, including all the Aztec games. He barks out orders at practice, and every player is respectful of Mark. And of course, the love of Steve Fisher's life is not just his son, his family, but his new grandson, Max, who's just 3 years old.
He's the apple of Steve Fisher's eye at Grandpa for the first time. Mullins inside, sets the table for Napawe. Layup goes, and the Aggies have cut it to 4. A brand new game with under 15 minutes left.
And New Mexico State is in a triangle and 2. And in that triangle and 2, they have to match up to number 5, Wayne Poley, who's a very good open three-point shooter.
Here he is from deep, right on cue, buries the 3.
They went to the triangle and 2 in the timeout. Steve Fisher subbed Poley in. Now you probably want to get out of that triangle and 2 and just not guard, if you will, the big guys. Almost have a two-man zone.
This is Eldridge. Thames trying to funnel him to the corner. Now to Poway. Eldridge, blocked by Thames. He is a demon on the defensive end of the floor. Shrigley. Slaughter never even close.
That wasn't a foul.
Look at Boular running a Hail Mary, going to the free throw line.
I don't know if you call it cherry picking or snowbirding. Depends on your location of the country. But Simbalar did not exactly make it back defensively. But how about the reverse outlet pass? That's supposed to be Simbalar passing the outlet pass to Kevin Aronis. Instead, Aronis with the perfect delivery.
How about the catch? He is 7'5", 360. Running down the floor in size 22 sneakers. Can't finish the three-point play, but the Aggies are right back in it. Ball batted around by Baker. Loose ball, Mullins. Well played. Aronis. That's his spot. 2-point game. It's a 14-3 run for the Aggies.
Goes down. Well, only play the team that's in front of you, right?
Speaking of surprisingly close, how about this score? San Diego State, if you've just joined us, up 14 just a couple of minutes ago. But New Mexico State putting this one together. 14-3 to cut it to 2. Second half shooting, 7 of 11 for the Aggies. The Aztecs, meantime, have cooled off considerably, 3 of 10. Poley misses the floater. And the Aggies with that size up front controlling the glass.
You get no second shots. And that's the big thing is Josh Davis, who's just a monster, a double-double machine, even going back these days at Tulane, no second shots.
The Aggies have never led offensive foul and illegal pick on Napawe. Sometimes it's on the guard. You have to give your big man a chance to set it.
He moves. Watch, he sticks out his leg and keeps moving. And
good call.
That's going to hurt Xavier Thames. Thames, had a bad back all last season, and that doesn't exactly help when 270 pounds and 6'9" man lead with the screen like that.
Akeel Quinn in for Fisher with under 13 minutes left. Winner of this game advances to Saturday. North Dakota State will be their opponent. Poley misses the corner 3. Rebound weak side by Aronis.
Yeah, but that was Simbalar. Josh Davis was in position, but Ballar's just so much bigger, he tipped it to his teammate.
Napawe wants to take Davis. Wow. Gorgeous drop step, and then he missed the layup. This is Quinn. Wisely heads it out. Thames a reset. Thames basically had a free throw, couldn't put it in. And the Aztecs awfully chilly here in the second half.
That's the best shot he's going to get. That's his favorite shot. Going towards the basket, mid-range pull-up. And now he's not hitting, and San Diego State's not getting second shots.
There comes Mullings. Stripped cleanly by Thames. Another defensive gem for the senior.
Ooh.
Quinn misses the three. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Napawe. Fresh 35 for the Aztecs when we come back, but in desperate. Can San Diego State get its offense in gear? They've scored just 3 points in the last 6 minutes and 14 seconds. They're one of their last 10 and 3 for 14 shooting overall since halftime. Not to mention they've turned it over 5 times. Thames their best player, but he's had some issues at times with his shooting droughts. Dwayne Polee gets a big bucket.
The problem is that he has to create shots for other people, and that was the first time they've ever used a post player to feed a shooter on the weak side. I don't know why New Mexico State is helping on Skylar Spencer. I think Cimbelar's got that thing okay.
Only the 10th point for the Aztecs in the half. Again, New Mexico State has never led. They've trailed by as many as 14. 7 to shoot. This is Baker. Mullings from deep. What a box out by Spencer, and then they give it right back.
Nice little back tap.
Boulard powers up to the two-handed flush. Doesn't have to get very far off the floor at 7'5". Just past the midway mark, Thames with a floater right over the top of Boulard. 9 points for Thames, Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. Averages just under 17 per game. That's the New Mexico State team, no stranger to March Madness. Their 21st ever appearance in the NCAA tournament. 3rd straight appearance and 4th time in the last 5 years. I'll get the most complete coverage of every team in your bracket and the tournament's best moments with the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report. Fuel your passion with Team Stream on your iPhone, iPad, or Android device right now. We're in Spokane. Spiro Ditas, Doug Gottlieb, Jamie Maggio. Our entire crew with you. Can New Mexico State get over the hump? Looking for points against the second best scoring defense in the country. Alley-oop. Boulard with another finish.
And Mullings is so quick that once he starts kind of running downhill towards the basket, you can't keep your eyes off him. And then Bullard's so big that if he gets any sort of space, you can just throw it to the rim and finish.
There's a lot to like about this kid's game. The sophomore from Toronto. What a shot on the answer. 13 points for Xavier Thames.
Xavier Thames become a one-man offense as he's finally rediscovered that he can hit those mid-range jump shots if he's patient against the Aggies.
And one thing to keep in mind for people who haven't watched San Diego State, as this thing gets later and later, and if it stays close, Thames one of the biggest late-game money players in the country. Steve Fisher said, very simply, he's unafraid of the big moment. Traveling violation.
There's Mullings, drives to the hoop, just kind of floats it up to Cimbelar. He's just so big, and then because Bullard's in the way, keeps his dribble alive, gets enough airspace. He loves shooting out that left hand.
Just under the 8-minute mark, second half. Thames off balance shot, and he's feeling it. Thames has scored the last 6 for the Aztecs. Gives him some breathing room, up 6. Under 8 minutes left. Davis takes his turn on Boulard. Whistled for the foul. And the 7'5" center will shoot when we come back.
That's like Casantario.
At the line to shoot 2 with 7:27 left. Well, we talked about just the mammoth sophomore in the middle. How about this comparison?
Favorite snack, weak wrestlers. Favorite snack, weak layups. Well done by the crew. Producer Ryan Galvin and company. Cast of hundreds up in Spokane. Director Mark Grant. Fabulous job. 4 games, and they brought the energy. Unique graphics like that one.
Shepard on a floater. Haven't heard much from Shepard tonight. In fact, his first points was 0 for 4 before that shot. Critical part of the game here for the Aggies. Mullings again lobbing. Boulard collecting himself and his foul before the shot.
What do you do? There's literally nothing you can do. Xavier Thames looks like a 5th grader standing next to Simbalard.
He really does.
And, you know, Mullings is a very, very athletic driver. And that's a called play. He just kind of stands on the block. You drive to the basket. You throw it up to the rim. And he's just so big.
1-and-1 situation. Boulard at the strike. Only a 55% free throw shooter. Makes good on the first. Another reminder to let Upwave help you unleash your inner beast. For tips and advice on how to keep your body at its best, check them out online, upwave.com/basketball. See what Boulard has done tonight. 10 of his 12 points in the second half. Still really anyone's game here with 6:45 remaining.
And again, the triangle and 2 from New Mexico State. 3 players in the zone, 2 in man-to-man. Ian Baker, the freshman, matching up with Xavier Thames.
Here's Shepard, the sophomore from Houston, traveling violation. He has had some big scoring games, and his emergence, Doug, as a scorer this year in his second year, really one of the reasons why they have overachieved. They were picked to finish 4th in the Mountain West Conference. No one expected 29 wins, but Shepard has had a fantastic season. He advances to take on North Dakota State, coached by Saul Phillips here on Saturday.
What a win for the Bison.
Aronis falling out of bounds. Just got to throw it up to Boulard. Here comes Mullings to the wreck. Hard reverse finish to cut it to 4. Mullings very quiet in the first half. He's got 13 now.
And Simbalard, such an incredibly important asset in the press breaker. Just throw it up to him when you're falling out of bounds, and he's simply unguardable. And he hits a cutter and you get a layup.
Well, they left Shepard open. Not sure they want to do that.
Well, Shepard's not a very good three-point shooter, but he has hit some big ones. His 5th 3 of the year was in their last regular season road win against UNLV when they needed a bucket.
Low pass from Mullings. Davis ate it up. Shepard thought about it. Into the paint. Air ball. Not sure if that slipped through his hands, and now they say deflected. And the Aztecs will have it. Marvin Menzies nearly jumped out of his expensive shoes in front of their bench.
And Winston Shepard, as much as you like that he's turning down a shot, turning down for a worse shot. Not on balance. Probably was touched because that thing missed 3 feet to the left.
Now they're getting to this point now where the Aggies need to tighten up their defense. 1 at a time. We come up on 5 minutes. Thames contact. He will shoot.
Ooh. Got him right in the jaw.
Baker the man down.
And look, Ian Baker is just a kind of a victim again. If basketball's a contact sport, he's playing right on the hip. That's a smart play from a smart player. As the 5th-year senior, you jump into the contact and you get the foul, and Baker, the freshman, unfortunately learns the hard way. Wrong place, wrong time.
Top of your picture, Manhattan and Louisville. And the Jaspers right now up 3 with under 4 minutes left.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Louisville, of course, wasn't happy with their seeding. That was one of to try to push this lead to 8. So after checking for all of his teeth, Baker stays in. 5 minutes left. Aggies down 8. Where do they turn to here for offense? Napawe lost the handle. Boulard takes it back. Spencer blocked him. Baker had an excellent look at it, couldn't put it down.
He had 3 dead layups, and Skylar Spencer had a block.
Davis, the leaner, left it short.
He went with his left-handed. He went with his right hand because of Boulard.
If he doesn't block the shot, Boulard usually will bother it enough.
No question.
Doug, you wonder where his wind is right now. He appears to be laboring.
And they got a TV timeout coming under 4, so if he can just survive. It's a very good passer.
Baker. Well, they needed that badly. Davis clears.
As you said, winded, now's when you push.
Shepard. And a lead back to 10.
And Villar only made it 1 step past midcourt. Napawe barely made it past the 3-point line. The Aggies are gassed.
Ronaldo Dixon waiting to check in at the table for Menzies. Aggies running out of time. Mullings had it stripped. What a defensive play by the senior stars.
Over to TNT.
Is there anyone who's more into the social media than you, Doug, in sports?
Yes, but they don't work for Turner and CBS, so I won't mention it. But I do appreciate the fact that they're active in connecting with people.
As good a multitasker as I've ever been around. 3:15 to play. Aggies getting to the point here where basically they need to stop every time down the floor. Thames and the Aztecs using up all 35 seconds. 3 to shoot. Shepard over 2. Well, they didn't score, but they chew up a lot of clock. Mullins swatted by Spencer. And then Boulard. Not exactly how he drew it up, but gets the friendly bounce.
And smartly, Marvin Menzie didn't take him out for very long. And Boulard, he just kind of stands next to the hoop, and when the Aggies realize that he's open, you just kind of throw it next to the rim. Probably too tired to dunk it, but he's so big and so effective down low.
Boulard, the 7'5" center. Team high 14 points, 6 of 9 shooting, to go along with 6 rebounds and 2 blocks. 12 of those points coming since halftime. Doug, do you foul here just to get that clock stopped?
I mean, I think you try and get 1 stop.
That's the guy that they want taking the 3, as Doug pointed out earlier. But they have to hurry here with under 2 minutes left. Dangerous pass. And what's the call here? It's on Mullins.
Yeah.
Well, Baker was a little bit too casual with that pass, and they pay the price.
And you know, as good a shooter as Kevin Aronis is, he just kind of stands. I mean, if you're that type of lights-out three-point shooter, you have to constantly be in motion because the defense will be much more wary of you.
Buck 45 to play. See the team foul situation.
Now I would start. I mean, as soon as Josh Davis gets it, I would foul. Josh Davis is a very poor free throw shooter. The problem is Billar's in foul trouble.
Just so much valuable time coming off the clock. Down 8 points. Thames. Rebound Aronis. But down to a minute 15. Aronis from deep. Got it. 5-point game with a $1:12 remaining. Timeout taken by.
Set by Harvard, a Stanford team that is capable of beating you.
There's your game reset. You see the timeout situation. Marvin Menzies and the Aggies down to their final stoppage. With 1:12 left, and this is a 2-possession game. Aztecs up 5. San Diego State's NCAA bid ending last year. Beaten by the upstarts from Florida Gulf Coast. Ending their 23-11 season. Trying to advance here to take on North Dakota State on Saturday. Officials want to look at something here.
J.J. O'Brien asking, and the officials telling him, cannot run the baseline.
Davis fouled.
Smart foul.
1:08 left. Doug, you mentioned our producer, director, Ryan Galvin, Mark Grant. Special thanks to our entire crew. They have done yeoman's work all this week. Countless hours. Our ABs, Julie Carrick, Steve Murphy. Our BAs, Day Ellis, Ryan Mason. Talent stats, Rich Gaynor. Another stats man, John Quinn. And our incredible crew of cameramen here in Spokane putting together all the incredible pictures. 1:07 left. New Mexico State hoping for some late game magic. But that clock running down ever so quickly.
Shepard, but I make them catch the basketball. I deny everybody else the ball, let them catch.
Well, both Davis and Spencer are on the bench.
Now you foul.
Cole Lee is 76% free throw shooter.
That's just, you have to know the personnel. They give you a scatter report, it's in a sheet, you got to know.
Well, you see Menzies saying something, I believe, to either Aronis or Baker, as if to say he should have taken the foul earlier.
Correct.
Winner advances to take on North Dakota State. Saul Phillips and company scouting this game intently.
And playing a little with house money, but I really believe their style. If San Diego State is fortunate to advance, Dwayne Polee knocks down the first 2. The pack line defense is essentially a zone when you're not, with the exception of the man being guarded by the basketball. That'll be very, very difficult. Very difficult for San Diego State to score on.
Well, the question with the Aztecs all season long, as good as they are defensively, would they be good enough and dynamic enough offensively come March?
Mexico State's out of timeout, so whatever you get, you got to get in a hurry. Look for Aronis shooting a 3.
Here he is. Can't hit it. Dixon the rebound. Back up. Stuffs it with the right hand. They can't stop the clock. Out of timeouts. Down 5. Thames an 83% free thrower. They get Polee.
This is a little thing, Spiro, but I mean, Kevin Aronis wasn't wide open. It was a tough shot. You don't give a shooter a bounce pass when you don't have to. Test pass on the seams, let him catch and shoot it. And you have a freshman point guard who's trying to just get the ball to the shooter like the coach wants. Sometimes that doesn't happen.
Polee misses the front end. Here comes Mullings. Last thing the Aztecs want to do, stop the clock and put the Aggies at the line.
They also don't want to stop the clock, and they don't want to miss free throws. Outside of that, the perfect possession for San Diego State.
4th personal on Thames. So here's Mullings, 72% for the season. And tonight, a perfect 4 for 4.
Only a junior. Of course, he played with Team Canada in Russia last year in the World University Games. You're Steve Fisher. You got 2 timeouts. You sit on them in case you need them, with a 5-second call or a 10-second call in the backcourt.
Mullings, the player of the year, as we told you, in the WAC. 33.1 to play. It's a one-possession game all of a sudden. Thames fouled. 9-2 run for New Mexico State. Menzies upset about something.
Well, he didn't want to foul Xavier Thames. Don't let him catch the ball. Anybody but him. Poley just missed, foul him. Winston Shepard, 63%, foul him. J.J. O'Brien, 63%, foul him. Anybody but that guy. And of course, even as much as you coach it and you tell him and you have the scout report, this guy's a killer, end of the game player, what happens? He gets the ball.
Well, he cut his teeth behind some of the best coaches in the game. And of course, under Steve Fisher. He's at SC under Henry Bibby. At UNLV under Lon Kruger, who we saw earlier today.
Sure.
And of course, Rick Pitino at Louisville. Thames hits both. 5-point game, 32 seconds left. Aggies out of timeouts. Aronis. Kept alive by Mullings. Dixon with a left-handed putback. And then they turn it over. It is a one-possession game. 15.6 left.
They were so intent on getting it in quickly to Xavier Thames that they were rushed, and Thames drops the ball, and the Aggies have new life. He wanted to settle his troops down, but considering Marvin Menzie didn't have a timeout, you allow him to set up a play. Now, don't be surprised if it ends up coming back to Kevin Aronis, who's taking the ball in bounds.
Baker. Aronis for the tie. Well short. They get it back to him. He'll try again. Got it! Thames on the floater, and we are headed to overtime. Incredible. New Mexico State, 5 straight points to end regulation and a 14-4 run over the last 3:27. That was the turnover. And Kevin Aronis, the senior from Northern California, sends it to overtime.
And Thames trying one last floater, one last miracle.
This game was over. Late game magic. Late into the night here in the Pacific Northwest.
But could not have been played any worse by San Diego State. You don't secure the rebound. Just like the Texas game tonight, the first shot doesn't get you. The second one does. And Kevin Aronis puts the Aggies back in the game.
I'm a 6'8" power forward from your alma mater. We're one shot away from winning it all. And you couldn't even look away if your kitchen was on fire. Hey, look, your kitchen's on fire. And if you got your home insurance where you got your cut rate car insurance, it might not pay for all that. It's March, and it's mayhem. So get Allstate, where agents help keep you protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere, so get an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Well, we hope you didn't turn the channel for a moment. San Diego State up 7 with 61 seconds left. They were up 5 late. Late turnover on an inbounds play. Left the door open.
And
This was Dixon, cut it to 3.
They give up a layup, and Josh Davis kind of quickly throws it in bounds before Xavier Thames is ready. And then Kevin Aronis got one look, missed it, gets a second look, and makes him pay. And I swear to you, somebody somewhere pressed that Buffalo Wild Wings button again, because this game was over. It was a wrap. Seth Davis had his Sharpie out, and here we go.
5th overtime game of the tournament on the first full day of March Madness 2014. Incredible. San Diego State 1-0 in overtime games this season. The Aggies 1-1. And keep in mind, the Aggies have never led in this game. New Mexico State 1 timeout. San Diego State has 2. Xavier Thames, who told you how good he is late. 20 points. Aztecs back in front. Doug, you just wonder emotionally how a team can recover after giving up that kind of a lead so late in the game. Poway can't hit. Rebound inside.
I think many teams would crumble and think, oh, here we got to go. We got to beat them again. I think it's different with number 2.
Rebound by Boulard. Here's Baker. Ahead to Mullings.
Wow,
Swatted. What a play by Poli. Came out of nowhere to turn that one back. Thames with 11 to shoot. Spencer. Contact, and he will shoot. Boulard mystified at the call. If it's on Boulard, it's his 5th.
And Daniel Mullings, a tremendous move in transition. He thought he had a layup. He did have a layup. It was done. It was over. Xavier Thames gets out of the way. Ooh. And Dwayne Poli, you just can't teach that type of quick jumping combined with length and timing. I think it was clean.
Considering the circumstances, Boulard has fouled out. That is as impressive a block as you will see. Could turn out to be a 4-point swing instead of the game being tied.
That's like a game-saving block.
So here's Spencer at the line, only a 43% free throw shooter.
Now, San Diego State is known for Xing their offensive players. They cross their offensive players at the free throw line. They get a ton of rebounds, and especially with Boulard out, don't be surprised if Josh Davis, on a miss, gets a rebound. See how they cross?
So Dixon and Poway playing a 4 and 5 with Boulard finished for the night. 3-point Aztecs lead. We come up on the final 3 minutes in overtime. Aronis again left open. The winner of this game advances to take on North Dakota State here on Saturday. Poli to the wreck, gets the floater.
Winston Shepard is not used to guarding somebody like Kevin Aronis. Aronis spun him around like a top last time and probably got fouled on a 3. They were just fortunate he missed it.
Dixon steps out. Reynaldo Dixon, his 4th 3-pointer all season. Thames. Dangerous pass. Shepard couldn't hit. Davis tips it in.
What a play from Josh Davis. Off balance, falling down with his right hand. Just a simple 1-2 from the 5th-year senior.
Davis, the walking double-double. 10 points, 14 rebounds. Napawe drops, stepping, and a chance at a three-point play.
And this is what happens when Dixon hits a three. Now you can't help in the low post. And Skylar Spencer gets caught playing behind Napawe. And most players he can play behind. Not behind that big grown man.
Marvin Menzies thinking if they can just take the lead once, put the pressure on San Diego State a little bit further, and see what happens. Napawe's free throw rims in. A minute 38 left. 1 point game in overtime here in Spokane. Thames turn in the corner, contact, and free throws.
He is so good at playing downhill. And by downhill, I mean going towards the basket. That's a flat ball screen. And Napawe's a very good athlete, but he can't get out of the way at Xavier Thames. And if you back up, his best shot is a mid-range pull-up jump shot. He's hit several today.
Hard to believe that last year Thames only averaged 8 points per game. What a jump this young man made this year.
Well, remember, he had a bad back. Chase Tapley was the starting point guard, who was another end-of-game big shot maker. And they had Jamal Franklin, who was drafted in the second round by the Memphis Grizzlies, who led them in points, scoring, rebounds, assists.
Well, this is really the first time Thames has been healthy in about 2 years. Hurt his back late in the non-conference schedule last year. Never truly recovered from that. Sophomore year, he had a knee injury. What a year it's been for Xavier Thames, the senior star and leader of the Aztecs. Napawe getting middle, left it short. Spencer bothered the shot.
Well, he bothered his shot in Napawe. That's been his problem. Sometimes, body like Tarzan, you can't finish like Jane. Got to finish strong around the hoop.
Can Thames will the Aztecs into the next round? Under a minute left in overtime. Shot clock at 7. Thames against Baker. Thames off balance. Not even close. Rebound Aronis. Do the Aggies have another big shot in them? Baker turned back by guess who? Spencer again. Skylar Spencer, his 6th block tonight.
Skylar Spencer kind of gets caught in a bad spot, but the skill of Skylar Spencer, I don't even know if he blocked that one as much as the rim did, and because he was there, yeah, he missed it. Baker just hit it too low on the backboard. He missed it, and so did Baker. But it's like you said about Simbalar. Because you respect him as shot blockers, you shoot it too quick, you shoot it too high, you shoot off the wrong foot, and it ends up causing you to miss a shot.
If you were a college basketball fan, lucky enough to be here today, you got your money's worth. As Thames breaks the free throw, every time they've had a chance to put it away, they failed. .6 to play. San Diego State was up 7 with a minute left in regulation. Aronis left it short.
That one goes, I'm leaving. That's about as good a defense as you can play, as the officials, for the most part, kind of swallowed the whistles the last couple possessions, with the exception of the intentional fouls. Do not leave Kevin Aronis, and if you're Aronis, you got to get set, and don't be afraid to pump fake, because they're going to come flying at you, and you can get 3 free throws.
One timeout left for the Aggies. Aronis, the inbounder. Inbounds, Mullings man hit the deck. O'Brien, 2-point game.
I thought it was a 3-point game. It's a 4-point game. So now if you're San Diego State, only one guy should touch this basketball. It's Xavier Thames. Go get it.
So 6.8 It'll be Poli to the free throw line. Again, a 76% free throw shooter. A young man who has had a brilliant night, both ends of the floor. 12 points, 4 of 8 shooting, and an incredible block shot earlier in the overtime. It's going to be a one-possession game. And the Aggies are still very much alive. They are out of timeouts. With under timeouts, one more free throw for Poli. Either way, it'll still be a one-possession game.
Now you foul. I think when the ball gets to about midcourt, you bump, you foul. You don't allow a three-point shot to beat you.
And that's what Steve Fisher tells J.J. O'Brien to do. 3.2 remaining. Every coach has a different kind of philosophy late, and Steve Fisher,
most of them are coming around to this.
The 68-year-old head coach.
And look, we saw on CBS Maryland come back and beat Virginia. And Virginia, when there was a foul, same thing, they didn't box out. Maryland came back and won the game.
Mulling 72% of the season.
Excuse me, Maryland had the lead, foul.
Right.
Virginia forced overtime, Maryland beat them again. Now you got to box out. There should be no excuses because you can pinch. They can't run in. You can't run in from outside until that ball hits the rim.
And we saw Louisville just a short time ago as a 4th seed in Orlando barely survive against Manhattan. And San Diego State, by the skin of their teeth, trying to get past Marvin Menzies and New Mexico State.
Well, they just hung around and hung around. And San Diego State missed free throws, mishandled the ball, and they lost Kevin Aronis, who fouls out now with 5 fouls. But Aronis, a remarkable career shooting the basketball, 203 shots this year, 180 of them are from 3. He shot about a 44% clip.
One of the biggest shots of his collegiate career to send this one to overtime. 1.9 left. 2 shots for Poli. And the winner advances to take on North Dakota State. That'll be here Saturday. And you think that's a tough matchup?
I think
for the Aztecs.
A really tough matchup. We saw New Mexico State go triangle and 2, but the style that the Bison play both offensively and defensively will be a difficult one.
That puts the game away. San Diego State and Steve Fisher survive and advance. Emotional scene there. Fisher against his one-time assistant.